Chapter 121. For Flavor's Liquor Worm. Gyu Clan. Xiongli stood at the mountainside and gazed at the distant Gyu village, a complicated expression on his face. Cool autumn wind was breezing gently. The color of autumn dyed the mountain. Tree leaves were a mix of yellow and red, with wild fruits growing all over the place. Only the Qingmao bamboo remained green and erect. Not long ago, Gyu Clan was like these Qingmao bamboo, evergreen all the year, the overlord of Qingmao Mountain. Now, they are actually falling behind. Xiong lips curved with a cold mocking smile. But quickly, he thought of the Bai village, and the curve of his lips smoothed out. His mood turned serious. Bai village's uprising had already broken the old balance of Qingmao Mountain. The traditional hegemon, the Gyu clan, had weakened. Xiong village's operations were not running properly. All these were pushing the situation in the Qingmao Mountain towards an upheaval. Xiongli knew this upheaval hadn't erupted yet because of the pressure from the wolf tide. The three villages needed to collaborate if they wanted to overcome this wolf tide, thus they tacitly maintained peace and threw away grievances for the time being. Once the wolf tide is gone, Qingmao Mountain's old structure will be shattered. Bai Ningbing has already reached rank 3 in only a couple of years. It's really terrifying. Xiongli recalled the figure of a white-clothed youth, and he felt stifled as if he was pressed down by a huge rock. He, Xiongli, was the top amongst the Xiong village's rank 2 Gu masters. He had fought all sorts of battles and won most of them, establishing his name. He held the Grand Bear Gu and could erupt with a bear's strength. He was also known as the strongest person in Qingmao Mountain. He had already made his debut and had personally seen the rocket-like emergence of Bai Ningbing, so he was clearer than others regarding the terror of this youth. Group leader. That is Gyu village. It's still far away. Why are we stopping here? From the side, Xiong raised his 2 hands and clasped them behind his head as he curiously asked. I in this 5-person group. Xiong was the youngest and was a newbie who just made his debut. He was the same age as Fang Yuan and was this year's top genius of Xiong village. His stature was short, and he had shaved his head, which seemed to shine under the sunlight. Xiong looked at this new talent of the clan. His heavy mood eased up a little. He answered in a deep voice, "We are here on a diplomatic mission and not on a scouting mission. This area is already the warning area of the Gyu clan, and we will probably be treated as enemies if we boldly enter." Oh, so it was like that. Xiong realized. We have 2 objectives this time. One is to hand the clan head's personal letter to Gyu's clan head. Another is to investigate the matter regarding the river-swallowing toad. Gyu village is not our area, so make sure to keep your temper in check when we get there. However, you absolutely can't degrade the prestige of our Xiong village, understood? Xiong gaze swept all around and shouted. The rest of the Gu masters' expressions all turned serious and silently nodded. Group leader, someone's here. The scouting Gu master in the group suddenly spoke. We have revealed our movements for so long. They should be here by now. But who would it be? So it was Qi Shan. Soon after, Xiongli also discovered Qi Shan group. His eyes flashed. Wow, that person is so tall. Is he Qi Shan? He is even taller than the group leader. Such muscles, piece by piece. Group leader, isn't he the guy born with super strength who has been trying to seize the title of the strongest person of the Qingmao Mountain? Xiong immediately looked straight at Qi Shan. It had to be him. Xiong Jiang spoke gloomily and twisted her lips in disdain. Xiongli. Qi Shan. The 2 groups were 50 steps apart from each other. The 2 group leaders came face to face, their gazes clashed in the air and seemed to form sparks. Looks like you are Xiong village's special envoy this time. Qi Shan snorted coldly. He had fought many times with Xiongli. That's right. Has the special envoy from the Bai village arrived? Xiong's expression steeled up. Why ask so much? Follow me. Qi Shan cautiously turned and invited. Meanwhile, in the second secret room, 4 wine jars were in front of Fang Yuan. Sour, sweet, bitter, and spicy, for flavors of wine. Sweet belonged to golden honey wine. Spicy was white grains liquid. Sour came from red berry wine. Bitter was from bitter shell wine. Fang Yuan sat cross-legged on the ground. He then willed the 2 liquor worms to fly out of his aperture. The fusion process of 4 flavors liquor worm was slightly different from normal fusion. The 2 liquor worms followed Fang Yuan's will and entered the red berry wine jar. They started the fusion within the red berry wine. A white ball of light formed in the wine jar. Its majestic light pierced out of the wine jar and shone on the wall. Fang Yuan threw primeval stones in the wine jar. 1 piece, 10 pieces, 50 pieces. When it reached the 100th piece, The light ball shrunk to a fist size and floated in the wine jar. The red berry wine was completely used up. Fang Yuan picked the second wine jar, golden honey wine, and poured it into the jar. The white ball of light was immersed in the honey wine, suddenly swelling up to its original size. Fang Yuan's head was soaked with sweat. He was constantly maintaining the fusion of the two liquor worms' consciousness, and such multitasking was extremely taxing on the mind. He continued to throw primeval stones towards the wine jar. Every piece of primeval stones caused the ball of light to shrink by a bit, until it condensed to a fist size again, reaching its limit. Fang Yuan followed the pattern and successively poured the bitter shell wine, then the white grains liquid. When the 4 types of wine were completely used up, the light in the wine jar suddenly flourished before disappearing completely. Success. Fang Yuan knew he had succeeded without even looking in the wine jar. He willed, and a goo shakingly flew out of the wine jar. It was the 4 flavors liquor worm. Comparing it with the liquor worm, there wasn't much change in its external form, except that it was slightly bigger. It also resembled a silkworm and had a tiny pair of shiny black eyes. The difference was that the liquor worm's body was completely white, but this 4 flavors liquor worm's body continuously flickered with 4 colors. Red representing spicy, blue representing bitter, green representing sour, and yellow representing sweet. Fang Yuan couldn't help but associate it with the neon lights on Earth. Huff. Fang Yuan let out a big sigh of relief. His luck was good this time and didn't encounter failure, succeeding the first time. If it failed, the liquor worms could suffer serious damage and one of them could even die, or the bitter shell wine might be used up. Either of these outcomes would be troublesome. Fortunately, this situation didn't occur. A goo master needs to use, nurture, and refine goo. None of them were easy. And in the aspect of fusing goo worms, many goo masters would go through a lot to look for recipes and collect materials. There were various recipes and they might not necessarily be suitable. As for collecting materials, goo masters might even spend over 10 years of efforts on it. Even if they find the recipe and collect all the materials, if the fusion failed, the materials would be used up, and all their previous efforts and preparations would go down the drain. Goo masters' cultivation is difficult. Fang Yuan sighed. Fusing goo worms were easy at the beginning stage of the cultivation, but the success rate for rank 4 and rank 5 fusion would often not reach even 1 in 10 times. Rank 6 fusion success rate was even as low as 1%. Every failure when fusing high-rank goo worms meant a loss of a great sum of resources. However, once succeeded, the benefits would be extremely high. Taking Fang Yuan's newly refined 4 flavors liquor worm into account, it could refine rank 2 primeval essence and increase it by a small realm. Fang Yuan used a red steel relic goo to advance to middle stage. Now, with the 4 flavors liquor worm, he would have upper stage primeval essence. His fighting strength was now doubled. At the same time, the 4 flavors liquor worm would nourish his aperture, which meant faster cultivation speed. However, with advantages comes disadvantages. Using the 4 flavors liquor worm to refine his primeval essence would definitely lead to an increased consumption of primeval stones. Just by relying on the income from selling vitality leaves was already not enough to maintain his cultivation expenditure. Next, I need to fuse the stealth rock goo into stealth scales goo. This will add on to another expenditure. Fusion, whether success or failure, used up primeval stones every time. Fang Yuan had used up over 400 primeval stones earlier for refining the 4 flavors liquor worm. The clan had awarded him with 500 primeval stones for chasing away the river-swallowing toad. 500 primeval stones was enough for other goo masters to spend for a long while, but Fang Yuan had almost used it completely. Fortunately, from the reselling of the assets, after using up most of it to purchase the red steel relic goo, some of it still remained. There was no need to worry for a short period of time, but it was necessary to refine the scales stealth goo. Fang Yuan had obtained the stealth rock goo after he killed the stone monkey king. However, it had no practical use. It could only conceal the body. That meant, once Fang Yuan used it, his body would be concealed and be invisible to people, but the clothes on his body, his wrist guards, leg wrappings, and bamboo shoes would still be visible to the naked eyes. The stone monkey king had no worries about this. It was a wild beast and didn't need clothes. But Fang Yuan would be in an awkward situation. To use the stealth rock goo to the best of its ability and be invisible, he would need to take off all the clothes on his body. Otherwise, even if he concealed his body, others would see a set of walking rank 2 goo master's uniform. Stealth rock goo was a rank 1 goo worm. Once it advanced to rank 2 stealth scales goo, this problem would be resolved. Stealth scales goo could conceal even the clothes. If the Stone Monkey King had stealth scales goo, then even if Fang Yuan's shirt covered its body, the shirt would also become invisible. Supposing that the Stone Monkey King had stealth scales goo, then the matter of whether Fang Yuan could defeat it was rather suspenseful. Refining a stealth scales goo naturally required other materials other than the stealth rock goo. These materials were quite common, and Fang Yuan had already requested Jiang Ye's help to gather them. If I could refine stealth scales goo, it will become very convenient for me to enter the secret cave. Moreover, during the wolf tide, I could easily attack and retreat with this method. Fang Yuan pondered. It was getting late. He retrieved the 4 flavors liquor worm into his aperture and exited the cave. Walking towards the village, he had instantly attracted a lot of attention after successfully chasing away the river-swallowing toad. It was not easy moving about these days, so he was slightly worried that if he stayed for long in the secret cave, people would harbor suspicions. The village gate, a bout of strength contest had concluded. Xiong Li's group was proudly standing, whereas Qi Shan's group along with the Gu masters guarding the gate had heavy faces. Xiong Li wasn't as tall as Qi Shan, but his gaze seemed to be overlooking everything at this moment. He slowly spoke. Qi Shan, you are indeed blessed with super strength. But I have brown bear innate strength goo, and I possess the strength of a bear. You saw from the battle just now that you were still not my match. Humph. Wanting to get the title of the strongest in Qingmao Mountain, dream on, Xiang Jiang sneered from the side. Qi Shan's face was ashen. He knew the other party had intentionally challenged him, and their conduct was filled with political intentions. His loss now was no longer just his personal affair. Rather, it was tarnishing Gu clan's name. What are you being proud over defeating me? You don't know that I am no longer the strongest person in the clan. If you have skills, then speak after defeating Fang Yuan. Qi Shan had no choice but to mention Fang Yuan. Oh, Fang Yuan? I heard a great genius emerging Gu clan, and his name was Fang Zhang. But who is this Fang Yuan? Xiang Li asked, doubtfully. Qi Shan sneered. Fang Yuan is Fang Zhang's older brother. He is also blessed with innate super strength and similarly possesses a strength-increasing goo worm. Previously, he alone pushed the rank 5 river-swallowing toad over 100 meters, finally driving it away. If you don't believe me, you can ask anyone in the village. Xiang Li group's expressions couldn't help but change. Rank 5 river-swallowing toad. Fang Yuan. This name was instantly engraved in their minds. Chapter 122. There are many blizzards in life. Whiz. 3 face-sized moon blades slashed through the air, carrying an eerie blue light. Screech. Instantly, 16 to 17 Jade-Eye stone monkeys were killed on the spot. The stone monkey groups chasing after Fang Yu were instantly cut down by a small half. Fang Yuan stood on the spot and didn't retreat. Instead, he lifted his right hand and slashed the air 3 times. 3 moon blades ran through the stone monkey group, beheading any stone monkey in its way. The corpses of the stone monkeys fell on the ground, shattering into countless pieces. Their eyes turned into jade pearls and rolled on the blood-filled ground. Fang Yuan inspected his aperture. He still had greater half of dark red primeval essence remaining. The Moonglow goo required 10% of light red primeval essence to use a moon blade. Fang Yuan could only use 4 moon blades repeatedly at rank 2 initial stage. The number increased to 8 when he reached the middle stage. And at the upper stage, the number doubled once more, reaching 16. Fang Yuan wasn't really at rank 2 upper stage, but with the 4 flavors liquor worms refining of upper stage primeval essence, he could be considered to be at false upper stage. His fighting strength was rising sharply. Before, he would have needed to fight while retreating when chased by these 70 or 80 stone monkeys. Now, he just attacked with the moon blades, rapidly killing most of them. The remaining stone monkeys had escaped. I cleared up 3 stone pillars within just 2 days. This speed is many times faster than before. If this goes on, I will be able to reopen a path to the central area in about half a month, Fang Yuan pondered. From the flower wine monk style, the underground cave in the central pillar should be the next barrier. It is very likely that there will be another earth treasure flower goo at the barrier. I reckon the flower wine monk's strength inheritance is almost over. After all, he was seriously injured and his state was far from good, thus he hurriedly set up this inheritance. At most, there will probably be 2 more obstacles remaining. Fang Yuan recalled the scene on the image wall, the blood-soaked flower wine monk on his last breath. With his previous life's deep experience, he reached this conclusion. Flower Wine Monk had too little time to set up this legacy. There was no way for him to do more. However, This was a special case. Gu masters normally used years to set up their legacies. There were some large-scaled legacies that would only open once every 10 or more years. Some legacies were even divided and scattered across different areas and could even be at the different ends of the world. The latter generations would need 10 or more years or even decades of time to go through all the tests of such legacies. Some legacies might not even be explored completely throughout a Gu master's life. The Gu master would often leave this incomplete task for their descendants. Flower Wine Monk's inheritance can be classified as a microscale legacy, its shortcoming being the small amount of inheritance items. But this also has its advantage. The first barrier is arranged according to the local conditions and is thus simple. I have successively obtained Whiteboard Goo, Jade Skin Goo, and Liquor Worm from this inheritance. Stealth Stone Goo can be barely considered as the inheritance. Next, there are probably only 2 more Earth Treasure Flowers remaining. I hope that the Goo Worms in them will be related to scouting or movement type. Time passed quickly, autumn went and winter arrived. Early winter, the first snowfall had come, the sky was gray, snowflakes floated and fell on Qingmao Mountain. Fang Yuan was moving alone through the snow. He had just come out from the secret cave in the stone crack and was hurrying towards the village. Over 2 months have passed, but my progress in clearing the stone pillars has not been good. Fang Yuan's countenance carried a dark scowl. It was not because he hadn't put in effort, but rather the prelude to the wolf tide had already shown its signs. Food was scarce during the winter. The growing wolf packs started to increase their hunting scale to gather enough foods to eat their fill. The wild beast groups in the surroundings were purged due to this. Small beast tides frequently started to occur due to the disorder. Similarly, there were also the crippled wolf packs. These crippled wolves were expelled from the nest. These wolves gathered together and formed a group. They had started making frequent movements near the village. It hadn't reached the wild stage of attacks on the village yet, but the hunter families no longer went up the mountain to hunt. Similarly, there were occasionally some villagers who lost their lives to the wolves. Gu village mobilized many Gu masters to carry out a cleanup operation. Due to this, there were many people moving about, along with a lot of scouting Gu masters among them. Thus, Fang Yuan sensibly decreased the amount of times he went to the secret cave inside the stone crack. No doubt, this caused the speed of his progress in the stone forest to fall steeply. The cold wind was getting stronger. Snow was also falling heavily. A deep beastly howl suddenly spread through the wind and snow. Fang Yuan swiftly stopped and looked around. Alert. A small-scale wolf pack with about 20 or more lightning wolves quickly appeared in range of his sight. Here we go again. Fang Yuan muttered. This was already the 8th beast group he had encountered this month. However, this time was somewhat different. The wolf packs are starting to make their moves so near to the village. Next, the clan's Gu masters will make their moves more often. The stone crack secret cave is not far away. Looks like I can't go there for some time. Fang Yuan's heart sank upon this thought. The journey was difficult. There would always be some obstacles preventing people from progressing. The wolf pack closed in on Fang Yuan. Hua, hua, hua. They howled before charging at Fang Yuan, coming at him one after another. Moonglow Gu, Fang Yuan willed. A moon blade flew out from his hand. The eerie blue moon blade slashed through the wind and snow, going through the sickly wolves. It instantly beheaded 3 wolves, but when it reached the 4th wolf, the wolf suddenly rolled and cleverly dodged the moon blade. Although most of these crippled wolves were handicapped, blind, or missing their tails, they had plenty of battle experience and were very cunning. A normal rank 2 middle stage Gu master would be in intense danger if they ran into such a group of crippled wolves, and especially if they were surrounded by these wolves. But Fang Yuan was calm. His plentiful battle experience and the refined upper stage dark red primeval essence were the source of his confidence. Kill, kill, kill. He nimbly moved under the joint attacks from the crippled wolves, calmly dodging and decisively attacking. The wolves continued to die by his hands. After a short while, the number of the lightning wolves in the pack had sharply decreased by half. Who? A wolf gave a mournful howl. The wolf pack immediately stopped their offensive attacks and began retreating. This was the cunningness of these wolves. When they discovered that Fang Yuan was a tough bone, they decisively retreated, giving up their plan to hunt Fang Yuan. These old, sickly and injured wolves weren't in a perfect state, but being able to live till now showed their survival wisdom. Fang Yuan stood on the spot, calmly looking at these crippled wolves disappearing into the wind and snow. If he could hide his strength, then he didn't feel it necessary to reveal it. After confirming that the wolf pack had completely escaped, he promptly collected the items on the wolf corpses. Wolf skin, teeth, and so on were all valuable. Although their market price was on the low end, it could be made up by the quantity. In these 2 months, Fang Yuan had made some earnings from the spoils of war from eradicating these crippled wolves. The blood flowing from the wolf corpses were still warm. There were some crippled wolves who still had some breath left, their eyes showing a trace of vigor. In this world, not only humans but all living things are struggling to survive. This world is using life and death to unfold a brilliant stage. Fang Yuan sighed before ruthlessly killing off these dying wolves. A crippled wolf's fighting strength was higher than 2 jade stone monkeys. Under the coordination with the pack, their fighting strength would double. I can still deal with these small-scale crippled wolf packs, but it would be troublesome to handle large-scale crippled wolf packs or a small-scale healthy wolf pack. Fang Yuan could feel a faint pressure. The wolf tide will break out soon and the whole clan will be mobilized. I won't be able to act aloof. If I want to hunt the lightning wolves by myself, I must have a scouting or movement type skill. Otherwise, I will fall to the wolf tide. Fang Yuan clearly recognized his shortcomings due to his ample experience. His fighting strength had increased sharply after getting the 4 flavors liquor worm. With the Moonglow Goo and Jade Skin Goo, he had both offense and defense. With his previous life's deep accumulation, he could totally be ranked along with Qing Shu, Qi Shan, and Mo Yin. One could say he was barely, but already able to stand in the top ranks among the rank 2 Goo masters of the clan. Why it was barely was because he was not truly at the upper stage, and at the same time his aptitude was also only C grade and was thus very limited. Being able to accomplish this much with his fighting strength was already the best result, but fighting strength was only one aspect in surviving the wolf tide. I must have a scouting method. If I have a scouting goo worm, I will be able to sense the movements of the wolf pack and quickly retreat or move through another route. Or use movement-type goo worms to quickly run and escape from the wolf pack's besiegement. Fang Yuan pondered. His survival rate would greatly increase if he had just one of these 2 goo worms. If he had both, then he would be able to move about easily. I hope Flower Wine Monk's legacy contains such goo worms. It's not a problem even if it doesn't. From my memories, the 3 clans would jointly establish contributions lists during the wolf tides and put their stored goo worms out for exchange. There were many precious goo in the list. At that time, I can use my contributions and exchange them for Bai or Xiang village's goo worms. Fang Yuan planned in his mind and stood up. He had swiftly arranged the spoils of war in a short period and packed them in a bag which he then carried on his back. The snow continued to fall and soon froze the wolf blood, covering their corpses. Look, Fang Yuan is back. He is carrying a bag. Did he go out to hunt the crippled wolves again? It was him that saved our village? Hey, it was only by a stroke of luck. We both know how it went. If I had such great strength, I could also do that. It's no big deal. As Fang Yuan walked through the village, the people made way for him. There were praises, curiosity, and also envy. Fang Yuan. Qi Shan suddenly appeared from a corner and shouted, "Note, the blizzards in the chapter title, There Are Many Blizzards in Life, is a metaphor for obstacles." Chapter 123. I travel alone through heaven and earth. What's the matter? Fang Yuan looked at Qi Shan. Even if it was winter, he continued to be topless, his red skin emitting a warmth that made people feel like they were near a heater. The white snow that landed on his body instantly melted. This is because his aperture had a double orifice stove goo. The stove goo was a rank 2 goo worm. It could store internal heat that could be used for attacking. Subduing the cold was just a side effect. Qi Shan's expression was complicated. He stared at Fang Yuan and said gravely, "Do you know that these days, Xiong Li from the Xiong clan has been finding you for a contest of strength?" "I know," Fang Yuan nodded. Qi Shan sighed. "Xiong Li finding you for a contest of strength is not a mere competition, but it involves the interest allocation of the 3 clans' alliance. Under the wolf tide, non-alliance means destruction. But after forming an alliance, the biggest problem is how to distribute the interests and profits. These days, the 3 clans have been at a stalemate due to that." Fang Yuan looked at Qi Shan, instantly understanding why he had looked for himself. Negotiation was the hardest thing to do. For their own interests, the 3 clans would not give way automatically, and they would have to fight for their best interests. The negotiation table was long filled with gunpowder and smoke, battling wits that in this world's system of values. First was strength, second was kinship. Qingmao Mountain's 3 clans were individual clans, having great conflict towards each other since a long time ago, each bearing old and deep grudges. Of course, kinship cannot be used to alleviate their tensions. So to break the tension, they had to rely on strength. On Earth, there are military exercises to display one's strength. In this world, it worked similarly in that there are gu contests to display the strength of one faction and achieve greater benefits for themselves. Xiongli finding Fang Yuan for a contest to compete strength was due to this that as expected, Qishan said next. I have competed with Xiongli. He has the brown bear innate strength gu and already possesses the strength of one bear. He also has the grand bear gu and can increase his strength by another bear. Together, he has 2 bear strength. I am far beyond his match, as much as I want to deny it. But as Qingmao Mountain's #1 strongest person, the title belongs to him, no doubt. He paused for a while, then continued. Let's talk business. Your strength is around mine, so you are not his match either. But you cannot lose, as you were the one who woke up the river-swallowing toad, the hero that saved Qingmao Mountain. Once you lose, our Guyu clan's interests will be compromised. So for the clan's interests, discard your personal honor and avoid battle. Fang Yuan stared silently at Qishan. Qishan looked down. I know that this matter towards you is very difficult. After all, avoiding the competition has a disastrous damage towards one's own reputation. But it is for the interests of the clan. If you lose, the clan would have to give up much more. The clan has nurtured us. We naturally have to contribute to the clan, right? The clan needs you. Sacrificing your own reputation for the clan is only natural. But this matter started due to me, so in my personal name, I will compensate you for it, as part of my goodwill. Saying so, Qishan handed Fang Yuan a large money bag. Fang Yuan waited and chuckled. So my reputation is only worth 200 primeval stones. Qishan could hear the sarcasm in his words. His gaze sharpened as he said solemnly, Fang Yuan, please do not have any indignant feelings. Earlier, I tried to console you with kind words, but the truth is I'm here with a mission. Avoiding the competition is the clan higher-ups' orders. Regardless of what you think, this is an order. I hope you understand your position. Saying so, he turned around and left, leaving deep footprints in the snow. Fang Yuan looked at Qishan's back as his eyes revealed a sign of understanding. In order to get the greatest benefits, the clan has already used the event of me chasing away the river-swallowing toad as a chip in the negotiation. After all, the river-swallowing toad was a danger to the entire Qingmao Mountain. In order to get rid of this chip, the Xiong clan sent Xiongli to challenge me. To the clan, I am but a chess piece. Xiongli is the same, and Qishan is also a chess piece. What is sad is that these people are willingly being pawn pieces, even basking in its glory and finding it natural. This is truly a successful brainwash by the clan. But I originally did not want to compete with Xiongli anyway. The so-called reputation is merely praises from others. This chain that binds people has captured many heroes and geniuses in the past. But to me, what loss is there? Hee. I have to thank Qishan for sending me 200 primeval stones. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan smirked. Why did he attract Xiong Li's challenge? Merely because he had the glory of saving the village. Why did Qishan challenge Xiong Li? It was merely for the reputation of Qingmao Mountain's #1 strongman. The so-called reputation is merely a superficial carrot. It has tempted many people and trampled many others, manipulating countless people. Sad? How sad? Snow continued to descend slowly. The entire Guyu village was silently erected in the snow. The people beside him rushed through the streets. What's laughable is that these people have had their bodies trapped by this fictitious glory. Fang Yuan's eyes drooped down as his eerie dark iris was half covered by hair. The light reflecting from the snow shone on his face. The young man's face was pale and had a sort of coldness. Suddenly laughing, Fang Yuan recited a poem. White snow blankets the land as I travel alone through heaven and earth. Alone without any attachments, my solitary shadow travels freely. He took a large step and continued traveling. While others rushed, Fang Yuan walked alone. Whether it was clansmen, snow, or the village, they were merely a blurry background. A moment later, he reached his rental apartment, the bamboo buildings, and the wine tavern. He had already sold them all away. He continued to stay in the rented flat, and although it was very simple, Fang Yuan did not ask for more. He just needed a shelter over his head. Sitting on the bed, Fang Yuan began to cultivate. Gu masters in cultivating to break through a large realm needed ability and talent. But to break through a small realm, it was merely the accumulation of time. With enough time, the aperture would be continuously nurtured, and it can continue to elevate. According to agreement, when it reached evening, Jiang Ye came to Fang Yuan's residence. Lord Fang Yuan, these are the primeval stones this time. Please inspect it. He walked into the room, handing over 5 money bags respectfully, filled with primeval stones. There was more than 400 primeval stones inside, and as the wolf tide approached, Gu masters had an increased reliance on the vitality leaves. This caused Fang Yuan's sale price to continuously go up. Fang Yuan handed Jiang Ye 9 vitality leaves, asking, "The thing I asked you to purchase, have you done it?" Jiang Ye showed a look of disappointment, shaking his head. Lord Fang Yuan, this is bad timing. The wolf tide is coming, and the clan has increased its control on resources. Other things aside, that fish scale goo is only slightly less valuable than the jade skin goo. I have already tried my best, but it is difficult to have results immediately. Fang Yuan frowned. Fish scale goo was used with stealth rock goo to create the stealth scale goo. Without the fish scale goo, he couldn't refine the stealth scale goo. Even with resource control, it does not mean we cannot find a fish scale goo. The root of the problem is Jiang Ye's ability being too small. It seems that fusing the stealth scale goo would have to drag on. Fang Yuan sighed in his heart, but he was not discouraged. 9 out of 10 things in this world will not go according to plan. This is life, and the phrase smooth sailing is only a beautiful greeting. My clan produces the fish scale goo, and our clan also has them, although less in number. It seems this matter has to wait after the formal alliance. Fang Yuan was not in a rush. He knew that once the 3 clans form an alliance, they would create the battle merit board. This would encourage Gu masters to proactively hunt wolves. By then, he would be able to use his merit points to exchange for the 3 clans' resources. Of course, Guyu clan's Moonlight Gu, Xiong clan's Bear Strength Gu, and Bai clan's Stream Gu were the clan's signature, and would not be exchangeable, but the fish scale Gu was definitely inside. Danger is accompanied by opportunity. To Gu masters, the wolf tide was a strict examination, but also an opportunity to rise up. Under the attack of the wolf tide, numerous famous Gu masters died, while many Gu masters gained fame due to it. The older factions in the clan would weaken due to this, but new factions would rise up into the political stage. At night, unexpected guests arrived at Gu Qing Shu and Guyu Fangzheng. Qing Shu got to the main point, mentioning his previous objective, wanting to buy the liquor worm from Fang Yuan at the same time. He also wanted to buy the black boar goo, and even the 9-leaf vitality grass. 9-leaf vitality grass was a no-brainer. Liquor worm had long become the 4-flavor liquor worm. Even if Fang Yuan wanted to, he couldn't even produce it now, thus he rejected them. But the black boar goo. I have already gained the strength of a boar, so the black boar goo has little value to me anymore. Black boar goo's best advancement path is the steel mane goo. Although it is a goo with both offense and defense, to me who already has the white jade goo, it has little use. I might as well exchange it into a fish scale goo. Fang Yuan thought of this and mentioned it. Fish scale goo. Qing Shu frowned, then nodded. I know, you lack a defensive goo worm. The fish scale goo can be fused into the rank 2 scale armor goo. It can provide good defense. Using the fish scale goo and stealth rock goo to create the stealth scale goo, the recipe would only be discovered 200 years later, so it was natural that Qing Shu had no clue. Fang Yuan did not expose himself. The black boar goo is more valuable than the fish scale goo, so if we exchange it, you have to compensate me the difference in price. Naturally. Qing Shu nodded, then asked, never mind about the 9-leaf vitality grass. Are you really not selling the liquor worm? It is useless to you already. Raising it for nothing is just a waste of your primeval stones. Fang Yuan shook his head. Don't mention the liquor worm. It is not for sale. Qing Shu rubbed his nose, laughing bitterly. Fang Yuan, this matter is more complicated than you think. Do you know Guyu Yaola? She is the granddaughter of Medicine Hall Elder Guyu Yaoji, a new student this year, and has great aptitude. Guyu Yaoji loves her granddaughter and once tried to buy a liquor worm in the treehouse, but did not succeed. You've used the liquor worm before. I'm sure you know the benefits it has. I won't say any more. But Lord Yaoji really wants this goo worm for her granddaughter. An elderly's affection for her grandchildren is completely understandable. Thus, she has come to you. She is serious about buying it and has offered a high price. She even promises that if you got injured in the wolf tide, you'd get special attention from the medicine hall. I hope you consider it thoroughly. Chapter 124. I don't need your understanding. So that's it. Fang Yuan rubbed his chin, then shook his head. This liquor worm is not for sale. Since Yao Ji is insistent, why isn't she finding that goo master who bought the liquor worm? Hearing this, Qing Shu looked like a dark cloud was looming over him as he sighed deeply. Sigh. We do not know which clansman has it. After buying this liquor worm, there has been absolutely no news. We cannot find anything, and we cannot simply inspect apertures, right? That is a taboo, the biggest taboo among goo masters. For a small matter like the liquor worm, causing public rage is not good. But it is understandable that this clansman is keeping a low profile on his treasure. This is also human nature. Qing Shu did not know that the real person who bought the liquor worm was sitting in front of him, but Qing Shu never suspected Fang Yuan, since in his perspective, Fang Yuan had the liquor worm already. He wouldn't need to buy a second one. What's the use of it? If he knew about the 4-flavor liquor worm's recipe, he would definitely suspect Fang Yuan. But now, this recipe was solely Fang Yuan's secret to keep. The only one who knew that Fang Yuan was the buyer is Jia Fu. But to Jia Fu, Fang Yuan could be helping another person to buy it. Whether it be a relative or a lover, something like this is natural. Yao Ji is the same right, buying the liquor worm for her granddaughter. No matter what, I am not giving way for this liquor worm matter. Fang Yuan's attitude was firm without any loosening, as he smirked in his heart. This was the system. The system made one strong, but it was also a restraint. Jiyu Yao Ji was a rank 3 goo master. She was much stronger than Fang Yuan, but due to the system, she could not snatch it from him. Due to the rules of the system and minding her own reputation, she cannot forcefully purchase it either. Fang Zheng, who was at one side, suddenly urged, "Brother, the liquor worm is useless to you. Why cling on to it? Granny Yao Ji is very kind. I've met Sister Yao Le many times too. She is a good person. I am sure she will take good care of the liquor worm. And the liquor worm is very helpful to her. Kindness begets kindness. Brother, you saved the village and I am happy for you. This brings honor to our family as well. But why are you being so stubborn now? Isn't this too petty?" Fang Yuan's expression stiffened as he said coldly, "My good little brother, are you lecturing me? The liquor worm is my business. Even if it rots in my hands, you have no rights to dictate what I do." He was not really angry, but attitude is the mask of the heart, and by expressing his attitude, it would allow Qing Shu to see his determination to reject. It seems Fang Yuan is bent on rejecting. Bringing Fang Zheng here on purpose was a bad move. These brothers have a poor relationship and are always at odds. I've shot myself in the foot. Guyu Qing Shu's gaze shone. Fang Zheng, go out and shop around. Fang Zheng wanted to say more, but he was stopped by Qing Shu. Fang Zheng gritted his teeth, but still obeyed Qing Shu's command. Either way, I cannot understand you in this matter, big brother. He opened the door, leaving his last sentence. What I do does not require your understanding, Fang Zheng. Fang Yuan was expressionless. Fang Zheng's movement of opening the door stopped for a moment, but he quickly walked out of the room without turning around, closing the room door with a bam. This movement caused the room's atmosphere to become even more awkward. If there is nothing else, Brother Qing Shu can take your leave. Fang Yuan instantly evicted his guest. Qing Shu laughed dryly, trying to alleviate the tension, but Fang Yuan's face was cold as ice, showing no signs of change. But his temper was mild, and he did not get frustrated. Touching his nose, Qing Shu laughed awkwardly. There is another matter, regarding the 9-leaf vitality grass. The 9-leaf vitality grass is not for sale. Fang Yuan rolled his eyes. I know, Qing Shu nodded. It is regarding the vitality leaf. This is the personal business of my group. I hope you can supply the produced vitality grass to us. Of course, we will pay you an appropriate compensation. Seeing business approaching, Fang Yuan naturally did not reject. Then, 65 primeval stones per leaf. Qing Shu, on hearing the price, was tongue-tied. According to market rates, the clan's original sale price is 55 primeval stones. Although the Vitality Leaf is an expenditure type rank 1 goo, gone after one use, this was something to save lives, and nobody would mind more of it. Especially with the wolf tide nearing, the clan is also raising prices, and each leaf is sold at 60 primeval stones. Actually, not just the Vitality Leaf, but also resources are also getting pricier. This is the volatility of the situation, and goo masters have to live with it. But what Qing Shu did not expect was, Fang Yuan's price was even higher than the clan's. Finding it expensive? You don't have to buy it. But as far as I know, after the wolf tide, the clan will tightly control resources, and the Vitality Leaf would have excess demand. By then, the prices will soar again. There might not even be stock. What do you think? Fang Yuan's tone was calm as he safely evaluated his pricing. Qing Shu was stumped, his tone turning helpless. You sure are clear of it. But your price raising is slightly overbearing. Aren't you afraid of offending people? If you reduce the prices, you can use the opportunity to build relationships. But if you raise prices like this, the clansmen will keep a grudge on you for earning profits this way. Fang Yuan raised his head and laughed. The wolf tide is nearing. I am but a small fry. I can die any day. How can I bother with these trivialities? You have long gone past the stage of a small fry, and human relationships are not trivial either. Qing Shu stared at Fang Yuan deeply, then lightly shook his head. But everyone has their own thoughts and choices. I will not force you. However, do be more careful. Lord Yao Ji will not let go so easily. Goodbye. Qing Shu no longer mentioned the matter of purchasing Vitality Leaves. Fang Yuan's prices had scared him. He was a smart person, and when a smart person buys things, they do not act on impulse, but only after intelligent consideration. A smart person would have an evaluation in their heart, and once the prices exceed their worth, they would calmly pull out. Fang Yuan seemed to have only increased the price by 5 primeval stones, but Qing Shu was not just buying one Vitality Leaf, and the wolf tide would be going on for at least a year. He would be expending a lot of Vitality Leaves. If this accumulated, it would be a heavy cost. Thanks for your advice. Take care. I shall not send you off, Fang Yuan said, watching Qing Shu leave. His heart was clear as he knew that Qing Shu would definitely be back. That is because he had underestimated the wolf tide's severity too much. Under such a wolf tide, death might instantly befall anyone, and the Vitality Leaf had no lack of customers. In his memory, the price rocketed to over 100 primeval stones. Of course, this price was also during the period when the wolf tide was at its strongest. Right now, what Fang Yuan wanted to do was to accommodate to the time period, gradually raising prices as time flowed. The winter wind grew more cold and harsh. This year's winter winds were evidently colder than previous years for Qing Mao Mountain's 3 villages. Taking the Guyu village, for example, more and more crippled wolves appeared near the village surroundings. The clan sent out large amounts of missions, and almost all of them were about exterminating the crippled wolves. During December, when the crippled wolves amount reached its peak, this caused the situation to worsen quickly, reaching an atrocious level. In fact, there was even a situation where a hamlet at the mountain foot was slaughtered by a large group of wolves. Good thing was, the dozen Gu masters in the village retreated in time. The clan higher-ups breathed a sigh of relief secretly, as the death of a Gu master would cause them to feel pity for over half a day. But for mortals, they were all slaves anyway. So be it if they in this world. There are no human rights that a Gu master's life is more valuable than 100 mortals. This is the viewpoint of everybody. However, death and injury would definitely not be little. Thus, the village had sounds of crying and sniffing from morning to night. The village emanated a sense of grief and suppression throughout. The crippled wolves were only the prelude. The true wolf tide was even more horrifying. More and more people started to realize that the wolf tide this year is exceptional. Under such pressure, the negotiation that had been under a stalemate obtained quick progress, and the 3-clan alliance was formed a month later at the end of winter. Alliance Slope, 3-clan alliance meeting. Little snowflakes that were like soft white fur slowly drifted down. Hundreds and thousands of Gu masters gathered here, forming a grand scale. The Alliance Slope was originally an ordinary mountain slope, but throughout history, the Guyu clan's second-generation clan had managed to create the first 3-clan alliances at the slope. Thus forth, all future alliances were held there. After many years of refinement, The current alliance slope had already expanded tens of times, becoming a giant town square. The town square was along the mountain wall, and there was a huge rock erected there. On the huge rock, there were rock carvings of buildings, and in the buildings there was rock furniture properly assembled. The three clan higher-ups were sitting inside, closely discussing. Below the giant rock building, the three clans Gu masters had their respective standings, forming three large groups. Gu masters wore similar battle clothing, and along with a belt, their respective cultivation levels were apparent. Fang Yuan was within them. He secretly observed the situation. The Gu masters below the stage were all rank 2 Gu masters. Most rank 1 Gu masters were allocated to support, and only rank 2 Gu masters were the true mobile troops. As for rank 3 Gu masters, they were clan elders, and for a mid-sized clan like the Guyu clan, even after each generation's effort, they only had a little more than 20 clan elders. Fang Yuan was observing, and the other Gu masters were also watching. Countless gazes intersected with hatred, curiosity, and alertness. Gu clan's Gu masters were on the skinny side. Xiong clan's Gu masters were strong and robust, and from appearance their strength could be shown. Bai clan's Gu masters, maybe due to living by the waterfall behind the mountain, had whitish skin and had a aura, 1, around them. That long-hair guy is Guyu Qing Shu, rank 2 peak stage, and is the Guyu clan's number 1 rank 2 Gu master, some pointed out. Mo Yen. Humph, this wrench caused me to lose an arm. After the wolf tied, I must get revenge. Someone snorted in their heart. Whoa, that girl riding on the giant bear. She should be the Xiong clan's Xiong Jiao man. Don't be deceived by her appearance. She goes battle crazy when fighting. Do you see that white fat girl? She's by clans by Zhong Shui, a rank 2 upper stage fighter, who has the water boar Gu. She is very promiscuous and very lustful towards men. You newbies be careful, don't get fucked by her. The three clans' animosity and grudges had long been deep-seated. Alliance Slope's discussion, noises became louder as it turned into an uproar. Many Gu Master seniors were pointing around, introducing the strong people from the other two clans to their juniors, reminding them to be careful of them. 1. In aura. This is a bit hard to explain. In is associated with females, dark energy, water energy. Reminder, Xiong clan, bear clan, by clan, white clan. Chapter 125. Oh, then I admit defeat. The traditional overlord Guyu clan, the newly rising Bai clan, and the never underestimated Xiong clan. Fang Yuan's gaze flew across the people as he stood in the crowd, observing the entire situation. The Guyu clan has Qing Shu, Qi Shan, Mo Yin, Xiong, and Bai clan also had their outstanding rank 2 elite Gu masters, together with the different clans' heads and elders in the rock building. The Alliance Slope can be said to be filled with elites. I wonder which one is Bai Ningbing? The man who symbolizes the Bai clan's rise. Bai Ningbing is already rank 3. He is definitely not among the rank 2 Gu masters. It seems he isn't in the rock building either. Gradually, the discussions gathered on Bai Ningbing. Although Bai Ningbing did not appear, his brilliance had already suppressed all the Gu masters below the rock building. I remember that 3 years ago on the Alliance Slope, it was Bai Ningbing who was the first to step out and start the Gu battle. In just 3 years, he became a rank 3 clan elder. Thinking about it makes me shudder. He rose to heaven in one step. When he was rank 2, he could defeat a clan elder in the Xiong clan. This guy has a bright future ahead. The point is that right now he has already grown up, and at this rate, he can become a rank 4 expert, and even rank 5. As for rank 6, rank 5 is mortal, while rank 6 is immortal. Rank 5 is already amazing. Rank 6? Humph, you are all overestimating him. That might not be. Who can predict the future? Under such discussions, the 3 clan heads in the rock building stood up, staring down at the thousands of Gu masters. Guyu clan head was in the center, Bai clan head and Xiong clan head at his left and right respectively. The Alliance Slope gradually quietened down. Guyu Bo held the railings, sweeping a glance at the crowd, before saying, "The 3 clan alliance will pull together in times of trouble. For the Gu battle tournament, in the spirit of competition, competitors shall stop before fatality occurs. Start." The Alliance Slope was dead silent. The crowd looked at each other. The 3 clan alliance would always hold a Gu battle tournament. Not only was it to show off the clan's individual strength, It was also to promote conversation and temporarily alleviate their grudges, to achieve the aims of working together. But who will stand out first? If the first Gu master to stand up failed in public, it would be shameful on their own reputation, and it even shames the clan elders up in the rock building. Last time, Bai Ningbing stood up. But this time, the crowd continued to hesitate. Suddenly at the Xiong clan's side, a group of Gu masters stood first. It was Xiong Li's group. Immediately, the group of 5 invited numerous people's attention and gaze. The Xiong Li group walked past the Guyu clan's area, and under everyone's watchful eye, he stood at the Bai clan's territory. It's Xiong Li, Qingmao Mountain's strongest man. That's right. It seems that not too long ago, the Guyu clan's Qi Shan lost to him in public. His title is unmovable. Not even Bai Ningbing can take it away. Damn it, the Guyu clan isn't going over. Are they trying to bully our Bai clan? At the Bai clan territory, there was a mild disturbance. Many people knew Xiong Li's strength and felt a sense of pressure, but Xiong Li looked around and did not move from his spot. Instead, Xiong Jiang, who was beside him, stood out. Xiong Jiang had a thin body, and at the Xiong clan's area with lots of burly men, he was very striking. He took a few steps forward, facing the Bai clan's Gu masters, cupping his fist. Xiong clan Xiong Jiang challenges brother Bai Bingyi. Once he spoke, astonished noises could be heard below the rock building. Bai Bingyi's status was around the same as Qi Shan and Xiong Li, etc. Among the Bai clan's young Gu masters, he is only inferior to Bai Ningbing. For Xiong Jiang to challenge him, he was evidently trying to overcome the stronger foe. But could he? Bai Bingyi stood up with a grim face. His body was small and his face was pale. He was like a patient who had just recovered from a serious illness, giving off a feeling of being weak and sickly. But no one dared to underestimate him. You, Xiong Jiang, dare to challenge me. You have some courage. How do you want to compete? Say it, I'll accept it, he said to Xiong Jiang. Xiong Jiang laughed darkly. I specialize in defense, and you specialize in attack. How about this? I defend and you attack. I'll give you 3 attacking opportunities, and we'll compare the results. This was not a life and death match. It was only sparring. But Xiong Jiang had such confidence, he was obviously prepared, and this caused many people to mutter among themselves. Bai Bingyi raised his brows. Xiong Jiang, no matter what Gu worm, you are still a rank 2 Gu master. Your cultivation is like that. Do you really think you can block my water drill, Gu? If I injure you, don't complain. Xiong Jiang snickered. We wouldn't know unless we try, right? Come. Saying so, he activated the Gu in his body, and his body changed color, becoming dry and green like a dead block of wood. At the same time his teeth turned sharp and long, and 4 fangs were exposed out of his lips. His iris also turned green. This was the rank 2 Gu, roaming zombie Gu. Once activated, it could turn one into a zombie. Compared to living people, zombies are better at resisting punches and kicks and have greater regeneration, but is afraid of fire, lightning, and light, although it has greater resistance towards water, wind, and poison. At the same time, zombies when fighting under the sunlight are not as strong as in the night, and thus are weakened by the time of the day. Even so, I am not afraid. Bai Bingyi laughed coldly, raising his right arm. Under everyone's watchful gaze, he gathered his 5 fingers at one point and contracted his fist. First, a droplet of water formed on his 5 fingers. Then in the blink of an eye, the droplet expanded, turning into a fast, flowing current, and from his fingertips, the water coiled around his palm in a spiral manner. In 2 breaths' time, Bai Bingyi's fist was already covered by a light blue-colored spiral drill that rotated nonstop. Rank 2 water drill Gu, able to drill through rocks and steel with very strong attack power. Barely any Gu worm could defend against it. Receive my blow, Bai Bingyi coughed, throwing out his fist. Xiong Jiang raised both arms, forming an arm shield. The water drill hit his arm, and a large amount of water splattered. The two were at a deadlock for a few breaths when suddenly the water drill's rotation intensified, and Xiong Jiang flew 5 to 6 steps back. Xiong Jiang laid on the ground, but quickly did a belly flip. Standing again, one could see that the muscles on both his arms were torn by the water drill, showing his pale white bones. Bai Clan's Gu masters upon seeing this scene uncontrollably cheered, but a small number frowned. Xiong Jiang laughed slyly, not minding his injury as a zombie. His Pain sensors had been reduced to 0. By Bing, he stood on the spot. But suddenly his pale face changed, and he vomited a mouthful of blood. By Clan Gu Master's cheers ended. What happened? Someone exclaimed. It's the shadow bond Gu. By Bing, he stared deeply at the ground, where Xiongjiang's shadow was distorted at a creepy angle, pasted on top of the snow. It connected both Xiongjiang and Bai Bing together. It seems I win, brother Bai. With this shadow bond Gu, no matter how much injury I suffer, you will take 10% of it. I specialize in defense, but you are a pure attacker, and you have poor health, so even 10% of the damage is deadly to you. Xiongjiang said plainly. Bai Bing, he wiped the blood traces off his lips, staring deeply at Xiongjiang for a while before saying, Good. Very good. You planned well with such great tactics. I lost. He admitted defeat on the spot. Too unscrupulous. Absolutely cunning and shameless. To think he had a shadow bond Gu. Senior Bai Bing, he was completely outplayed. Bai Clan's Gu Masters exploded into a series of discussions. Xiongjiang cupped his fist. I'm flattered. If we really fought, the final winner would still be Brother Bai. The shadow bond Gu's range is limited. It can only bully close-range Gu Masters. I hope Brother Bai can take good care of me in this upcoming wolf tide. Of course. Bai Bing Yi's expression softened a little and nodded. Bai Clan's Gu Masters also started to quieten down. Standing on the rock building, the three clans higher-ups who had been observing nodded discreetly at this scene. The Gu fighting competition was only for sparring and not ruthless assault. Xiongjiang exposing a trump card also increased each other's trust and understanding. Whether it was Xiongjiang or Bai Bing Yi's attitude, they were good. Resolving it like this, the Bai Clan's Gu Masters, even if they did not admit it, felt admiration towards Xiongjiang. After all, the strong were respected. Xiong Li's group had a good start. Gu Yubo lightly praised. Hee. Xiong clan head beside him laughed lightly. Xiongjiang had given him face. Bai clan head at the other end had a tough expression, but Xiong Li's group did not quit while they were ahead. The five left the Bai clan's area and came to the Gu Yu clan. After challenging the Bai clan, they are challenging the Gu Yu clan now? Oh no, Xiong Li himself is stepping up now. Gu Yu clansmen were slightly nervous. Many of their gazes were gathered on Qi Shan, Mo Yin, and Qing Shu, but who knew Xiong Li shouted loudly. Who is Fang Yuan? Please stand up. I heard you could chase away the river-swallowing toad alone. Why don't we have a contest of strength? Instantly, the crowd exploded. Xiong Li stood up, yet he did not challenge Qing Shu, Qi Shan, or Mo Yin, but instead pointed out a newbie junior. Fang Yuan. Who is Fang Yuan? Some of the other village's Gu Masters had never heard this name before. Chasing away the river-swallowing toad alone. Oh my god, that's a rank 5 Gu? Is he so absurd? Some shocked glances of shock and curiosity. Gu clan's Gu Masters took the initiative and opened up a path, and Fang Yuan, who was among them, was exposed. Without anything hindering their vision, Xiong Li and Fang Yuan stared at each other. Xiong Li's lips curled to an angle, saying with a very manly elegance, I hope Fang Yuan would generously teach me. This Fang Yuan, who in the world is he? He doesn't have 3 heads or 6 limbs anyway. Chasing away the river-swallowing toad is also by coincidence and luck. It is nothing hard. Being targeted by this muscled man Xiong Li, he is in big trouble now. Fang Yuan, you can't avoid it anymore. Sigh. In that case, just hope for the best and go ahead and battle. Qi Shan sighed in his heart. Oh, is that so? Fang Yuan shrugged with a plain expression. Then I admit defeat. The moment he said so, the crowd all went dumbfounded.